Did you already see some stuff on the walls that might have told you something about Wind Cave as we walked down? Did you see that frostwork?
Yeah.
I mentioned to a few people as you guys walked by that all the formations that we see on the walls today, including that frostwork, is made out of calcite. And calcite comes from calcium. And calcite crystals, that frostwork, that popcorn, some of it, the white ball type stuff. We will see something later on called flowstone. That's all made out of calcite the same way that stalactites are formed. And I'll tell you that in just a few minutes, how that happened. But we also have another formation here that you've seen a little bit of here and there called, well, let's see if you can remember the name of it when I turn the lights on.
Boxwork.
Boxwork. Now that is also made out of calcite, but it formed totally different than all the other formations we'll see today. Alvin McDonald, remember that young guy that came into the cave to explore? He eventually started leading cave tours, just like you guys are doing today. It was a little bit different though. There were no lights, they just had candles. They didn't have these nice concrete paths and stairs and handrails. But just like you guys, they were in awe when they saw this weird formation because nobody really had had a chance to see this stuff before. You know, it was just like, a lot of people had seen stalactites and stalagmites and all that stuff, but this weird boxwork, what does it remind you of?
Mud.
Mud? Okay.
Spider webs.
Spider webs. They thought that there maybe was a big spider living underground. Anything else?
Paper.
Paper? Yeah.
Honeycomb.
Honeycomb? Some people thought that giant bees might live underground.
Termites.
Pardon?
Termites.
Termites?
Yes.
Oh, termites, yeah. Yep, that could be it. Somebody said it reminded them of clogged arteries. I don't know that one. But anyway, some people back then thought that they were plant roots. Now, prairie plants in this part of the country have really deep roots, but we're over 100 feet down, and they wouldn't go that far down. It took scientists quite a while to figure out how boxwork was formed, and at the next stop, I'll tell you how it was formed. But here, I'm going to tell you how the cave was formed. If you look at the walls, can you see there's like a bunch of horizontal lines? These are all layers upon layers of stone. And they were stacked up just like a giant, birthday cake or wedding cake, layer upon layer upon layer. And how this happened was a long time ago, scientists believe about 350 million years ago, South Dakota was covered by a warm, shallow sea. And in that sea were a bunch of little critters that lived on the bottom of the sea, and they had shells, like snails and clams. And their shells had calcium in it, okay? That's where the calcium comes from. And when they died, their hard parts got all ground together with all that other stuff you find in the bottom of the ocean or the sea, and it got pressed together until that layer turned into stone, and that's called limestone. And then it happened again, and it happened again, and it happened again. So all this stone you see was made out of ground-up shells from ancient critters that lived a long time ago. So we now know how the walls were formed, but how was the passageways formed? Well, this big thick layer of limestone that Wind Cave is situated in is about 300 feet thick. Okay, and we're about halfway down in that 300-foot thick layer. And so this 300-foot thick layer of limestone was pretty solid, but at that one point, the earth started to fracture or crack up that limestone. So a bunch of cracks started to form up and down and between the layers of limestone, all over every direction you can imagine. Eventually, a bunch of rain came from the sky and some snow too. And when it passed through the atmosphere and when it passed through the soil above our head, it picked up carbon dioxide. So water, when you take water and carbon dioxide and you mix them together, you get an acid called carbonic acid. Now, myself, I probably shouldn't drink it, but I love to drink carbonic acid. Anybody else here drink carbonic acid? What's your favorite kind?
Oh, Pepsi.
Pepsi! Did you know that when you drink pop or soda or whatever you guys call it, you're drinking acid? Okay? You are drinking carbonic acid. If you look at the first ingredient on your soda, it's going to say carbonated water. They don't put acid on it. Probably people wouldn't drink it if they put that on there. Well, anyway, there was so much carbonic acid that came from the sky that it got into all the cracks and it surrounded this layer of limestone. Now, carbonic acid, when it comes into contact with limestone, starts to eat it away. Takes a long time, but it does happen. So those cracks were filled with that carbonic acid, and the cracks started to get bigger and bigger and bigger because the carbonic acid was eating away at the limestone. And the cracks eventually got so big that you could actually walk around and take cave tours in them. Hey, pretty simple, huh? That's why the passageways go up and down in every direction. As a matter of fact, right here, and I'm not trying to scare you, but see this rock here? Where do you think that used to be?
Up on the roof.
Yeah, it used to be on the roof because that acid got between the layers and ate it away. And it fell down. And you'll see rocks all over the place that fell down. Is anybody afraid of a rock falling on your head?
No.
Well, you don't have to worry about rocks falling on your head because that carbonic acid all drained away. As you can see, that's not wet in here anymore. And when it drained away, that's when all the rocks fell down. So chances are you're not going to get hit by a rock. Your head might hit a rock if you don't duck, but you're not going to get bonged on the head by one coming from the ceiling. Okay? So here at Wind Cave, you know, we try to make it look all natural in here with the lights. And we don't have like big neon signs saying cave, come to the cave. But you know what? This isn't the natural look of Wind Cave. How can we make the cave look really natural? Any ideas? Turn off the lights. Now, anybody afraid of the dark? Okay, just keep your eyes closed, okay? Then you won't notice anything. So if you're afraid of the dark, and I understand some people are, I want you to find somebody that you can trust, all right? And we'll do a little bit of an experiment here to see if we can figure out what the cave really looks like. But I'm going to be nice to you. I'm not going to just turn the lights off. I'm going to do a little stair-step approach to this. I'm going to light this candle. And it'll give you a chance to get used to the darkness, but also it'll give you a chance to see how Alvin McDonald explored the cave. Because there were no lights in the cave until 1931. And also how cave tours viewed the cave back in the early days of Wind Cave. So you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
So you're going to be our canary.
Yeah, I'll be the canary. Ready? So it's a little harder to read the walls of Wind Cave now, but if your eyes adjust to it.